Long before Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous or MTV's Cribs, I often took viewers inside celebrity homes. And in 1980, Farrah was no exception. She lived in this house, which she and ex-husband Lee Majors built high on a mountain overlooking Los Angeles, one of the most beautiful I've ever visited, as I described then. It looks and feels like a star's home. The wood-beam kitchen is complete with its own fruit dehydrator and a built-in barbecue. The largest room in the house is the sunroom. The bedroom has its own fireplace. It includes its own sitting area and a mirror-lined dressing area, and a jacuzzi the size of a small bedroom. But after her marriage failed, it was an empty house, and Farrah told me she was lonely. More than anything else, she wanted to share her home, but not necessarily with another husband. And I asked about her future. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
Well, I hope I'll have a baby. I know I'll have a baby. Or
That's
maybe
the first thing that comes into your mind.
I know.
Baby,
I'm
not
obsessed
the career.
by this, aren't I?
With or without a husband, you'd still want to have a child.
Oh, yes.
Can you imagine being terribly in love again?
Oh, yes. I think that I couldn't enjoy life unless I was in love.
Are you in love?
Oh, yes, I need to be in love.
Farrah was sweetly evasive. She knew I was pressing her to admit that she was romantically involved with actor Ryan O'Neal, who became a star himself in the 1970 film Love Story, ironically playing the husband of a woman dying of cancer.
Yes, I'm in love.
It was the first time she acknowledged their affair, and 4 years later, she was pregnant with his baby, but not married. I hear that the issue of getting married or not has come up with Ryan. He has said publicly that he has asked you to marry him.
He has asked me.
And you've said no.
I'm considering. Oh, I'm considering. It's a very, big step.
Marriage? Mm-hmm. It's also a big step to have a baby.
Well, yes, definitely.
What you're doing takes, even in this day and age, when things have changed a great deal, it does take courage.
Does? Well, good.
Do you not feel that?
No, I just feel I'm entitled to do what I feel,
You said in an interview you were very fond of Ryan, but that he wanted sometimes to take control of your life. And you said, he's not going to do that with me. If that's what he wants, let him find a 21-year-old starlet. Remember?
Yes. I don't want somebody telling me what to do. I don't want to tell somebody else what to do. So if I don't want it, then I deserve not to have it. That's basically how I feel.
Does he tell you what to do? Is there that kind of
he's very
monstrous
strong with his opinions, but he doesn't tell me what to do. But he definitely gives his opinion.
You're wearing a wedding band.
Mm-hmm. This is from Ryan. He got me this in Paris.
But it doesn't mean anything. And for 17 years, it didn't mean anything. They never married, but remained one of Hollywood's great love stories. You have said that you've never loved anyone the way you loved Farrah. Seems she felt the same way. Why didn't you marry her?
I used to ask her to marry me all the time, but it just got to be a joke, we just joked about it.
In an interview that Farrah and I did years ago, she said that she didn't want to marry you because she thought you might be too bossy.
She said that? I am a little strong with my opinions, and I'm working on that, dealing with it.
But in 1997, they broke up, and dark years followed for Farrah. She briefly dated a man who was charged with assaulting her. Her acting career faded, and her behavior was often strange, if not unconventional. She made the bold decision to pose not once but twice for Playboy at ages 48 and 50. Both issues became the biggest sellers of the decade. In a provocative promotional video, she even used her naked body as a human paintbrush. And then came her rambling appearance on David Letterman's late-night talk show.
Sort of like they perceive it in, I really thought I was looking out the window.
Yeah.
People began to question what had happened to her. She seemed disoriented. Some people thought she was, on drugs or drunk. What was that all about?
I thought she was silly.
Just
being
silly.
Yeah. And I said to her, couldn't you have cut it in half? And she said, well, I was selling the Playboy magazine, so I thought I would be this aging playmate up on the... And that was my act. I said, well, you could cut that in half, too. But no, was she loaded? And no. Too bad that she got that bad rap. I just saw the press, looking for a chance to go after someone that we love. And I'm sure she didn't feel good about it. I'm sure it hurt her, although she never said.
Most troubling for Farrah, their son Redmond, the baby she was desperate for, was arrested in a series of drug charges and is now at age 24 in jail. Farrah adored Redmond and tried so hard to be a good mother, and yet the drugs...
Drugs, heroin, the strongest drug they make.
What went wrong?
Did we miss a beat? Yeah, I'm sure. We missed a couple. He wasn't happy with who he was. He didn't know who Farrah was and why she was so famous, and what did that mean to him. And I don't want to defend him. I'm still mad at him for this. But also, he's in a terrible fix because he may be in the can and lose his mother. And some sheriff will tell him. So I forgive him. And I told him that part of her legacy will be your strength, Redmond, to rebound and then what she stood for will stand. And he agrees with me totally. He knows this is it. This is the end. He is at the bottom of the bottom.
Is part of the problem for Redmond was that he had such a famous mother and had such a famous father?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. What am I supposed to say? I'm sorry about Love Story. What am I supposed to do?
My last interview with Farrah was in 2003, this time as Farrah, the artist and sculptor. From the Charlie's Angels poster to 2 works of art.
Well, and others.
And others. Yeah. Trying to reinvent her career, in 2005, she signed on to a TV reality series called Chasing Farrah. Ryan was also part of that show.
Catch it. Okay. Cheers.
I'm going to get a glass because you got just the one.
What did he say? Did he say just to get the one?
What is the name of this show again?
It's called,
Where's the you were going to set the table. You had so many plans.
But in August of 2006, in one of her last public appearances, it seemed the old Farrah was back. At an Emmy tribute to the late Aaron Spelling, a surprise first-time reunion with her fellow angels, and Farrah looked tan and healthy.
And I will be forever grateful. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you.
A month later, she would be diagnosed with a rare and deadly cancer that would ravage her body and claim her famous hair.
I went over to her house and she said, let's just get rid of it. Spontaneous like that. And we did.
You shaved her head?
I did.